There's so many learning platforms available, so should you still spend your time on Coursera? I've been using it for over 5 years at this point, and I've taken lots of courses and reviewed many on the channel. And I really enjoy Coursera, and so do millions of other learners. But I have started to notice some of the flaws, and to me, it's not really a deal breaker and I'll still be using Coursera, but for you, it might be. So let's start on a positive note with some of the pros. Contrary to the name, Coursera does not actually make any courses. Instead, they work with different partners that they can find to publish their courses, like Google and Microsoft. Reviews and ratings are public, so learners can actually select the top-rated courses and just go for them right away. And this encourages partners like Google and Microsoft to create high-quality courses, or they're gonna get a really bad rating. And it's a wonderful system, and I don't even enter a restaurant nowadays without checking the rating online, so why would I spend weeks on a course without any reviews? This marketplace also gives you more options, but do select carefully. I've found that companies on Coursera, like Google, often focus more on the skills to actually get a job and get hired, whereas universities tend to do a better job at explaining the difficult things and the difficult underlying theory. And it took me a while to understand this. Now, it of course does not always apply, but it's worth considering when you're selecting a course. Next, the variation. And there are courses, professional certificates, specializations, and now even degrees on the platform. Each one has a different purpose, and you must pick the right one for you. Courses will teach you a specific thing, like getting started with Excel. A specialization is multiple courses to teach you something more in depth, like data analysis with Excel. Professional certificates are similar to specializations, but they come with multiple courses and they're more focusing on the job itself. Like, for example, a certificate in becoming a data analyst, where you're going to be learning, you'll do some projects, you'll build a portfolio, and most importantly, prepare for jobs. And that's going to be the major difference between a certificate or, professional cert or a specialization. Most courses are for beginners, but definitely not all of them, so make sure you check that too. Now, number 3 is going to be the pricing. And most of us are tired of subscriptions, being charged every month forever. I go back and forth between canceling a streaming service to save some money, but it just never works out. On Coursera though, most things are open to anyone for free, but exams and the certs themselves will require a subscription. There is financial aid available for those who need it, which is fantastic, and it used to be full aid, but now it's up to 90%. And I've also made another video covering financial aid in detail, which I'll link it to at the end. Now, number 4, and studying is hard. I've never been able to study all day like some people I see online. But that's not to say that learning is boring or something. It's actually really fun. And when you understand something new, when you feel smart, it's a good feeling. But learning is quite exhausting, and some just have no time to learn, and definitely no time for live classes. This blocks people from improving their careers, and life just comes in the way, and it's honestly really unfair. Now, I want to be clear. Platforms like Coursera do not replace a degree, right? Unless you're taking a degree on Coursera, but that's another topic. But what they can do so well is help to bridge the gap and let anyone learn anytime. My own schedule varies, and some weeks I might be able to spend 15 hours and the next one 2 hours because I'm doing things. All courses are self-paced and self-study, so it's just a great option. And finally, career resources. I didn't even know these existed for a really long time, and they have things like interview prep, resume advice, etc., and I really recommend that you make use of them. Learning is not going to be the thing that gets you a job. Job preparation will. Alright, so now it's time. Coursera, I'm sorry, I'm going to be harsh. Here are the cons. Are you ready? Number 1. Quality varies a ton. Some courses are amazing and they're putting a lot of effort into it and a lot of resources like Google. It's a high quality production and quite valuable content. But others are actually terrible. I look at reviews and avoid courses below 4 or even 4.5 stars, and since then I've had no problems. Number 2. As mentioned, there is a wide selection of courses and that's great. However, there's a twist. Let's say that you want to become a data scientist, right? Then less than 1% of the courses will be for you. I have no statistics on this, but I'm just assuming. And if only 1% of the courses are relevant, it's quite easy to start taking irrelevant courses because there are just so many of them and so many things to do. There have been many times when I've started a course that I've been interested in, and then I found another thing, and suddenly I'm just taking new courses all the time, never finishing any of them. And it's even worse if it's something that you shouldn't even be learning in the first place, that's taking away time from your actual goal and gets you nowhere. So be very specific with your selection because we only have so much time to learn. And this brings us to number 3, which is shiny object syndrome. Now, I have too many certificates, I'm gonna be honest, and it's really fun to collect them. The problem is when that becomes your main objective and your main goal is getting a certificate. At one stage, you should be taking a cert on Coursera, but another time, you should be building a portfolio, a project, or doing something else. So don't stick to a comfortable environment. And I'm really saying this as a firm believer in Coursera. I love their platform, but there are other pieces that you shouldn't forget. So go out and do that too, and combine that with Coursera. Now, we'll continue down the same path with number 4. And there is a lack of exercises in some of the courses. And I have an idea why, but it's only a theory. So if you have a better idea, then write it in the comments below. My theory is that courses, of course, want good reviews. And most people are kind of lazy, me included. We prefer videos over long text and over courses filled with heavy tasks, because that's quite uncomfortable. So companies deliver what we actually want, which unfortunately is not always what we need. They want the good reviews, and that's why many courses have way more videos than hands-on practice. And it might also be easier to create, I'm not sure. So supplement the course that you're taking with some practice on the side if it's relevant for your course and your field. An example is We3 Schools for extra practice if you're into programming, and it's also free. So now number 5, we're gonna talk about the price. Now, let's be real. For the price of Coursera, nobody's expecting one-on-one mentorship and, personal coaching. That would be super expensive, and that's why boot camps charge tens of thousands of dollars, or at least thousands. Instead, there are community forums and a tracking system to hold you accountable. That's not always going to be enough, and if you have some money to spend, you can hire a tutor, which can kind of check up on you once in a while, or you can try reaching out to somebody in the industry willing to be your mentor. And it's very important that you figure out a way to stay consistent and hold yourself accountable, because there are some mechanisms in place on Coursera, but there are not that many if you compare it to some other options. Like, nobody's gonna make you drop out of Coursera like you're dropping out of college if you fail a class or something, or if you don't do your coursework. So my opinion on Coursera is definitely not unbiased. I like their platform. I've taken many courses and made a lot of review videos, but it's important to evaluate if it's actually something for you before you get started. Now, luckily you can try it out for free, and in the description you can find a link to the best discounts on Coursera Plus right now that I've collected for you, so you can save a lot of money. Thanks, and I'll see you soon, maybe in the next video somewhere on the screen.